Welcome to the 3CoSports podcast with your three co-hosts, Luke, Alex, and Angel.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Podcast that entertains, informs, and helps you win. As always, my name is Angel, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Alex and Luke. Alex, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good today. The last week I've been just glued to my phone in rookie drafts for on Sleeper, so
Amen.
I've been a robot, but I've been doing pretty well. How about you, Luke?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty tired. I just woke up again, but that's what I always do before these shows apparently. So it's a consistent pattern at this point. So we're ready to rock. We're talking some rookie landing spots today. It should be a good show. As Angel says, I think we've all been really just ingrained to our phones the last few days with our rookie drafts. So it'll be nice to take a step back and actually just discuss some landing spots. So this should be a fun show.
Yes, but before we discuss landing spots, let's discuss Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight is a DFS website that features fantasy games for sports such as the NFL, NHL, NASCAR, that's right, I said NASCAR, and much more. You can even play DFS for esports. So what are you waiting for? Go on monkeyknifefight.com and use promo code 3CO, that's the number 3CO, to double your initial deposit up to $50. Go make some MKFing money.
Yes,
They're
sir.
going to set that up next time. Might come up with a new one. Might
Okay.
have to. Yeah.
Interesting.
But what do you guys say? Go right into it?
Yep.
We have news and
All
notes,
right.
huh? Or do we not?
We'll
We
talk
have-
about the notes, yeah. But why don't we start off by talking about who could be out of a job following the NFL draft? Alex,
Oh.
why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so there's when I was crafting this segment, I was thinking of what news and notes could happen unrelated to the NFL draft, and I couldn't think of anything. So we're just going to prep our draft recap by talking about guys who got kind of screwed over by the draft, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
Just for context. So the guy who immediately comes to mind for me, Jimmy Garoppolo, because I have no idea where he could possibly be traded now. And the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance, and I don't think they're very keen to let him sit for a full season. So,
Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. I think my go-to pick that's not a quarterback would be either Melvin Gordon, with Javonte Williams being drafted behind him. That's an obvious sign that things will be shifting in Denver shortly. I don't know about this year, but in the coming years, absolutely. And then I think Kenny Gainwell to the Eagles is very interesting to me. I mean, I don't think – yo, what's up, Jimmy? Appreciate you. I think that Kenny Gainwell's not going to be the starter necessarily in Philadelphia anytime soon, but in a couple of years, he easily could develop into like a 1A, 1B kind of situation. It'll be a weird committee kind of backfield. So Miles Sanders hit the pooper, and so did Melvin Gordon.
the pooper. Nice.
Yeah, the pooper.
Yeah, if I had to pick one running back who is likely to be cut now because of the NFL draft, it would definitely be Melvin Gordon. I feel like, just to rehash a little bit about what Luke said, Melvin Gordon is still a very viable running back. He's a good running back, but Javonte Williams is probably as good, if not better, at this point already, just based on where Melvin Gordon and Williams are in their careers. So Melvin Gordon might be cut in training camp, which would stink because I actually really like Melvin Gordon. I like watching him play. I think he's a good player. He definitely got picked up somewhere, but I think his days starting in the NFL might be coming to an end very, very soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't fully expect him to be cut just because I think they kind of like the 1-2 punch idea with having him and Lindsey last year. But I do think that next year he's probably not going to be a Bronco. But I feel like we're forgetting one guy who really, really did lose his job, James Robinson.
I'm going to talk about him. That's why I didn't mention him now.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
We got to talk about him.
No. Do we have to talk about him right now?
Oh, we do. Okay, this is my victory lap on James Robinson real quick.
Wait, Luke, let me, I've been the James Robinson truther. Let me deliver the news.
Okay, you can deliver the news and I'll take a victory lap on your corpse.
Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go. Last Friday night. Or was it Thursday night? I think it was Thursday night. Thursday night. It was Thursday night. The Jacksonville Jaguars committed a crime, and they committed a crime against the people of James Robinson and the Jaguars themselves, because you see, Picking Travis Etienne with the 25th overall pick of the 2021 NFL Draft was the stupidest, I can't swear, so I'll just keep saying stupidest decision the franchise could have made. You have an undrafted free agent at running back who is already better than most running backs in the league, has proven he can carry a workload, and you draft a running back in the first round. Why? Why would you do that? There are so many reasons why you wouldn't do that. Tony Khan, I had faith in you. I put my trust in you because you deliver me a good weekly wrestling product. So I thought you would deliver me a good good NFL draft. But no, you couldn't. You drafted Travis Etienne and you buried my boy James Robinson for what? So you can sell jerseys? Despicable. This is why Alex doesn't like Darby Allin.
Okay, my turn. So this is the reason I was fading James Robinson literally everywhere. Not because I didn't think he was a good player, but I just knew this shit was gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad, but I just had a bad feeling about it. I just did, and it was correct. So, yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, I think they just did it just because they wanted to reunite the college teammates. And I think they just didn't mind adding him to the backfield. It might have been like a BPA situation for their board. We have no idea. He might have just been like the highest player on their draft board. And they're like, yeah, why not get Trevor Lawrence as college running back? Like, it'll be fun. I think Urban Meyer came out and said that he just really likes having a running back by committee, which is disgusting. He said that he wants ETN to be like their third down and receiving weapon kind of back, and James Robinson to be like their goal line back and stuff with Carlos Hyde sprinkled in. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. Jimmy says, you guys think transition to NFL with college teammates makes it easier? Maybe it comforts you a little bit more, but I don't think it really makes it easier at all.
Yeah, I would say a lot of comfort having your quarterback hand you off the ball again in the next level, but I don't think it'll affect his play at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even if you're the most comfortable human in the world, like you'll never succeed because of that. I mean, it might like make you happier, increase morale maybe, but it doesn't affect your talent, I wouldn't say. But who knows? Alrighty. With that out of the way, let's get into some draft stuff here. We're going to get into our draft thoughts. And up first, we're discussing our favorite pick of the draft. Angel, why don't you take this one first?
Sure. So my favorite pick of the draft is a wide receiver. And I was actually a little concerned about this wide receiver heading in because I wasn't sure where he would end up. But Devontae Smith to the Eagles was my favorite pick of the draft because I really feel like Jalen Hurts can unlock him. I think Devontae Smith is a wide receiver one, and his high draft capital proved that to me. He's explosive. He's a great route runner. He's exactly what Jalen Hurts needs. He's going to be fed the ball heavy year one, and I mean heavy. They're going to pepper him with targets. And it also helps Jalen Reagor a little bit. He clearly wasn't an alpha wide receiver one. That's not his fault. That's the Eagles' fault for being stupid. So, wow, so stupid a lot today. But stupid. Get it together, NFL GMs. Stupid. Yeah, you got it. But yeah, Devontae Smith to the Eagles wasn't a stupid pick because it was the right pick to make for the Eagles. And I really, really liked it for fantasy football and for the NFL purposes.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would have picked that too, but I'm not nearly as based as you are, Angel.
Based Angel.
So yeah, my favorite pick, honestly, was Michael Carter, running back to the Jets.
Really? Interesting.
The Jets have like no running backs, and he's a very good running back, and he's good at doing a lot of things. I could see him being like maybe even the top rookie running back in fantasy this year. Like it's not out of the question if he gets enough opportunity because he's a good pass catcher. He's fair. Very explosive. Like he's a veteran too. He's an older running back, so he knows what to do. I don't know. I just really liked it. I was going to like anybody who went to the Jets, but I'm glad that they got somebody who's like capable of coming in and producing right away. Like he kind of reminds me of Philip Lindsay, and I think he could have a similar rookie season to Philip Lindsay.
That's good. Yeah, I like that choice. I don't have any shares of Michael Carter, unfortunately, just like where the rookie drafts have fallen. I'd rather have different players there. My favorite pick was definitely Justin Fields to the Bears. I loved that pick for the Chicago Bears. I think trading up. I mean, Ethan is hype as hell. He still needs to drink pickle juice and mustard or whatever on a live stream. We're gonna make that happen when I get home for the summer in a couple weeks. He'll be at his house. Go over to their house and he'll do it on live for us. That'll be excellent. But Yeah, I just think it was a brilliant move for the organization. They've been in QB hell for the last, I don't even know how long. It's been forever since the Chicago Bears had a good quarterback. And Justin Fields is an elite talent at the quarterback position. And they traded up from 20 to, what was it, 10 or 12? 11, I think, maybe, actually.
11.
Yeah, 11. It was 11.
I think it was 11. And they picked their franchise quarterback. I absolutely loved the decision for their team, and I feel like they're building it the right way in Chicago right now. And it was a great idea.
Hell
It
yeah.
also was amazing for fantasy for all their weapons there, like Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson. Who else did they draft this year? Was it Daz Newsome?
Daz Newsome, yeah.
Daz Newsome will be interesting there. Great opportunity for fantasy for sure. All right, next up, we're going to get into our favorite teams draft. So, like, overall draft from a team. Angel, what are your thoughts there?
This is a tough one because there were some really good drafts. The Browns stand out as one of my favorite drafts. But beyond that, and Alex and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, I really think the Chiefs absolutely nailed their draft. Given that they were one of the last teams picking, it's hard to do that. But they completely solidified that offensive line. Now you have an elite offensive line protecting Patrick Mahomes with elite weapons, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire will probably have more running room this year than he did last year, which means Helaire's stock is going up. So the Chiefs definitely had my favorite draft, once again for NFL reasons, but also for fantasy football reasons, because I think everyone's just going to improve on last year, except for maybe Travis Kelce. I think he might start slowing down next year, but that's another story.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs they're definitely an interesting one because they got a lot of guys who might not help them right now, but next year and the year after that, they're going to be really effective. Like Trey Smith, that was a great value for them, round 6. Creed Humphrey, he's going to be their starting center next year probably. Cornell Powell, he's probably going to beat out Byron Pringle and those guys. So yeah, I like that pick, Angel. I like that a lot. Oh, and Noah Gray, back up to Travis Kelce, the next Travis Kelce, perhaps.
Oh, Noah.
Ooh.
From Massachusetts, by the way. So we got
Is he really? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
He's
You
a
got to
mass
root for
boy.
him.
Mass boy.
All right. My favorite draft, I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to say the Patriots. I really loved what the Patriots did this year. It was such a uncharacteristic draft because it was like, oh, they're taking the best player on the board, like consistently. Mac Jones, he's kind of boring, but he's a good quarterback. He's a smart quarterback. We've seen a boring, smart quarterback do really well in New England before. So I don't hate the pick. I thought he was a good value. We didn't have to trade up to get him. Didn't have
Great
to sacrifice anything. Yeah. And then we did trade up to get Christian Barmore, a guy who you guys know I was high on. I had him as a top 20 player easily. I didn't think he was getting past 15, but apparently there were some current concerns about his off-field stuff. Evidently, those concerns do not exist in the Patriots organization because they traded up with 2 4th-round picks. They're liquid gold for the Patriots, those 4th-round picks.
Liquid gold, baby.
And they gave up 2 of them to move up it's like 7 spots. They really, really wanted Christian Barmore, and he's a great player. I think he could be a real menace on the defense. Our defensive tackles were looking kind of rough too, so it was a much needed pick.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ronnie Perkins, our 3rd-round pick, great defensive end. He had some really good PFF grades last year. I think he was above 90 for his grade against the rush and as a pass rusher, which is incredible. Like it was one of the best grades of any defensive end in this class. And he's a bit of a tweener, but the Patriots do really well with tweeners like that. He kind of reminds me of like Rob Ninkovich, a guy who was a staple on our defense for a long time. And yeah, those 3 picks in particular were great, but the rest of the picks, like Will Sherman, good pick. I really liked Trey Nixon in the 7th round. Like it was just an overall good draft. They just seem to consistently be hitting everything that they need to hit. Also, Cameron McGroin from Michigan, really good linebacker. Yeah, very good linebacker, very good pedigree. Going to step in and get some work this year. So yeah, go Patriots.
You know that Bill Belichick was having flashbacks to the 49ers game when he selected Christian Barmore with that 38th pick.
100%.
I mean, that was awful.
You might have. Yeah. All right. Well, for my pick, it was the Detroit Lions. Not going to lie, I think they did an excellent job of building for the future in this draft. First of all, with having Penei Sewell fall right in their lap to number 7, which was pretty unexpected for me. I don't know about you guys. I did not think that was going to happen. And then rounds 2 and 3, they drafted 2 defensive tackles, building the trenches further. And then in the 3rd round, their second pick in the 3rd round, they drafted Melon Falu, a cornerback who is brothers of Obi Melanfalu, I'm butchering that last name, but that safety who was like a combine freak a couple years ago. His brother, they drafted him in the 3rd round. So another addition to the defense, which is great. And then in the 4th round, they got spoiler alert, like my favorite fantasy pick of the draft, like favorite landing spot was Amon-Ra St. Brown to the Lions in round 4. I think that was an absolute steal. He's going to get a ton of targets there. I think he's going to be the one this year, maybe 1 or 2. He's going to get a lot of work. I think he's going to be really good for fantasy. And then Derek Barnes, linebacker in the 4th round. And then they get Jamar Jefferson, running back, round 7, pick 30, which is a great value. I just think this draft really sets them up for the future success, building the trenches in the defense. And I feel like they got a great value on a weapon and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th. So I thought it was an amazing class.
Yeah, they didn't get too cute with it. They got everything they needed.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was great. I really, really liked their draft class because they easily could have drafted like Justin Fields at 7 if they really wanted to be like aggressive, but they did not.
Yeah.
So, very interesting for sure. All right, up next, we have favorite landing spot for a player. I'll just go real quick because I already said it. My favorite landing spot was, once again, Amon-Ra St. Brown to the Detroit Lions. I think that it's an amazing landing spot for fantasy relevancy immediately just because they don't have like any wide receivers. I mean, the wide receiver core there is Tyrell Williams, Quintus Cephas, and who else? I mean, TJ Hawkinson, obviously. But
Rashad Perriman. And then add in Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, in my opinion, could be clearly the most talented person in that receiving room. It's a recipe for great fantasy success, hopefully. So, Angel, why don't you take the next one here?
I'm about to trigger Alex with my pick, but it's also Amon-Ra St. Brown. So
you're not allowed. You're not allowed.
He traded him to me.
I know. I traded Amon-Ra St. Brown for what will presumably become the 201. But yeah, I mean, I really don't have much else to say except for I'm sorry, Alex.
You can't pick him. You didn't listen to me. You can't pick him.
No, you're right.
You got to pick somebody else.
He's been chosen.
You can't. No, I want you to do it again. I want you to pick somebody different.
All right, off the dome.
Yes.
Off the dome. All right, let's see here.
Waiting
for an off the dome. Oh, I got it. Rashad Bateman. I think he's going to be peppered with targets. I know that's an unpopular opinion.
Okay. No, Angel, I like it. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just shocked because I feel like everyone thinks this is a gross landing spot and it's driving down his value. You love the landing spot.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I got him with the 201 in one of my drafts, and I could not have been happier. I think he's going to be peppered with targets. The Baltimore Ravens need someone of his size, of his skill, especially in the red zone. Mark Andrews can't catch for shit, so they need someone that actually can catch the ball. So I'm very on board the Rashad Bateman train. I know that that's an unpopular opinion, but I really do think that Lamar Jackson is going to improve throwing the ball this season as well. Not a Josh Allen-like leap, but an improvement. So I'm going to be very interested in what Rashad Bateman does in the NFL level because I think he was easily one of the better wide receivers in this draft.
Easily.
Yeah. And one thing that I learned last year, much like Luke, you've said this multiple times, is talent over situation. And I think the talent is eventually going to win out here. Maybe not his rookie season, but next season I definitely see him being a very viable player.
Love the pick, Angel. Love it. Like you just said, you got it at the 201. I got him at the 202 in a 12-team Superflex, which I think is just insane value because if he landed at a good landing spot, he probably could go as early as like the 109-ish area. Like he's a really talented player, and the only reason he's going out of the first round is because he landed in Baltimore. And here's the argument for Baltimore. Like, I mean, Angel already made it a little bit, but I mean, they were literally dead last in passing last season. I believe passing attempts, or I don't know what it was exactly. I think it was passing attempts, 32nd. There's no way that with them adding Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman, who was the other rookie they picked? It was Tylan Wallace. So the receiving room is now Rashad Bateman, Sammy Watkins, Tylan Wallace, Hollywood Brown, Devin Duvernay, Miles Boykin, I'm pretty sure still. Like they have actually a really nice receiving room now, in my opinion. They have a lot of guys who can do a lot of things. There's no way they're not in the bottom. There's no way they're in the bottom 3 of pass attempts next year. There's no way. They have to increase their pass volume with that receiving room. The reason I think they weren't passing the ball is because they didn't have anybody. Like, why would you want to throw the ball to Marquise Brown and a bunch of dudes? Like, no one wants to throw the ball to that receiving core when you have J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram and Lamar. Like, you're gonna run a more college style pound the rock offense, but now that you have receivers, sure, you're probably still gonna run the ball a lot, but you're gonna throw the ball too. I just think people are overthinking it a little too much. I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Rashad Bateman pick too. I think the landing spot was much better than people are giving it credit for, because people are acting like Lamar Jackson is like the worst quarterback in the league when they're like, yeah, he's terrible for receivers. It's like, no, his number one receiver is 5'7", 170 pounds.
And he makes it work.
And he kind of makes it work. But like,
well, his number one is Mark Andrews.
His number one is Mark Andrews because they have no other receivers. Exactly. Yeah. Like they need they give him like a standard sized receiver with good hands who can do everything well. Like, I trust the receiver to make it work, because like Lamar Jackson, it's not like he's like a bad quarterback. Like, he'll get him the ball. He was throwing a Des Bryant and Miles Boykin, and like, did they still have Chris Moore last year? Like, it was a real devastating depth chart that they had. So yeah, I like the Bateman pick, and I like the St. Brown pick, but I won't go any more into that one because I might go off on a tangent. I'm just going to hit mine real quick, though. I like Chuba Hubbard to the Carolina Panthers.
Why?
I just trust the Panthers offense to get the best out of him when the time comes, because I didn't think he was ready to come in and have a significant role this year, and I don't even think he's ready next year. But if you can have a guy sit behind Christian McCaffrey and get rotated in, especially a guy with the upside that Chuba Hubbard has, because he's an explosive athlete. He's great once he gets going. Oklahoma State didn't like teach him how to do things that he needs to know how to do to be a 3-down back in the NFL. Like, they're just kind of like, just take this and just go up the field, just go. And like, that's good, but it's not going to get you to where you need to be. And I do think that the Panthers offense will ask him to do a little bit more. And I think he's capable of doing a little bit more. I could definitely see him in year 3 taking over as the starter if they decide, we don't really want to pay McCaffrey all this money. Like, maybe we'll just go with Chuba. So yeah, I'm optimistic about that landing spot.
See, I'm not. I feel like he'll just be there to use when McCaffrey gets tired, and he'll be a backup for
the man missed 14 games last year, Luke. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Obviously, if he gets injured, Chuba could be awesome. I don't want to bank on that, because McCaffrey the last few years has been really sturdy with his durability. But I mean, obviously, it's all about what you did for me last. So McCaffrey could miss some time, and if he does, Chuba could be awesome. But if assuming everyone's healthy, I don't really see Chuba getting that much work. TBH.
Fair enough.
He might get some goal line carries, though. I think it'd be interesting. We'll see. But all right, up next, we are heading into which player was drafted into fantasy relevance. So a guy that no one really cared about, but now he got drafted well, or went to a good landing spot, or got high draft capital for no reason. And now he's on everyone's radars. Angel, let's start with you on this one.
Sure. So there's a couple of players that I could have gone with here, but the one that I chose, it's kind of cheating a little because he wasn't technically drafted. But Javian Hawkins going to the Atlanta Falcons is intriguing to me, mostly because they literally have no running backs that are of any value.
It's Mike Davis and a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah. Brian Hill, I think, is still there. Which
no
is,
more. Not there.
Yeah, it literally might just be Mike Davis.
No Ito Smith either.
I know Ito
I'm pretty
Smith
sure
right
it's
there.
literally just Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Wow. That is awesome for Javian Hawkins. I think a lot of people are going to be looking for the next James Robinson. I'm not sure if he'll be there. There's only one James Robinson, which is a fact that apparently the Jaguars didn't know about, but whatever, I digress. But
there's only one James Robinson, and they kicked him to the curb.
Right? So stupid. Trade him to the Falcons. Do the right thing, Jaguars. But Javian Hawkins is literally the definition of getting drafted into fantasy relevance, because he went to the one team that might need to start an undrafted rookie free agent this season. So Javian Hawkins has a chance. It'll be an interesting battle to watch throughout training camp, and I'm interested to see what happens. But what about you, Alex? What do you got?
Yeah, before I get into mine, I just want to say that you made a good pick there. I think Hawkins, I like his fit also with the Falcons, because he's kind of a Devonta Freeman-ish, and I think they would know how to use him pretty well. So
remember when Devonta Freeman got a 4-year, like $26 million contract?
Yeah, I do. It was terrible, but
that was wild. Right before the Super Bowl, too.
Yeah.
Good times. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Oh no, I interrupted myself. Don't worry about it. My guy, I don't even know if people are on this guy yet. Tommy Tremble, you guys know the
Yeah,
blocking tight end, the 3rd round pick blocking tight end to the Carolina Panthers, whose 2 tight ends, Ian Thomas and Dan Arnold, cannot block. They won't be on the field on running downs. Tommy Tremble will be on the field. He's 20 years old, went to Notre Dame, where there's been so many good tight ends that have come out of Notre Dame in the last 15 years, like Kyle Rudolph, Cole Kmet, Tyler Eifert, just to name a few. And there's a bunch of guys who have been like depth pieces in there too, like Troy Nicholas. And I like Tommy Tremble. I think you can't teach a tight end how to block. Like, you kind of just can block or you can't. And he is a good blocker. His dad played in the NFL too, so he's got that pedigree. I think he's very coachable. He's only 20 years old. He's a very good athlete. He looked pretty good when they got him the ball last year, but he wasn't like a focus in the passing game because they had Michael Meyer, who is a freshman. I think he's a 4-star recruit. He's a really good receiving tight end. So he was getting more targets, obviously, because he's the most qualified for them. But I think Tommy Tremble could be a very good NFL tight end. I don't know if he's ever going to be like a top 10 fantasy tight end, but I think he could start for Carolina, and I think he could be very good. So yeah, that's my my Tommy Tremble rant. Luke, let's hear your thing.
I like it.
Mine is definitely Josh Palmer. I think that no one cared about him at all until he was drafted into a nice situation. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's the epitome of this question. Jimmy says McKitty over Tremble. So
no McKitty. I love cats, but no McKitty.
Meow. Meow. Anyway, Josh Palmer, no one cared about him until he got drafted, and that's facts. So
no one cared who he was until he put on the mask. Sorry, had to.
Angel.
Dark Knight, man. Dark Knight Rises, great movie.
I know. And then biggest reach is up next. The player we think that was reached on the hardest in the draft. And my answer, once again, is Josh Palmer.
Oh.
Okay.
Look at that.
I just don't think that he should have gone there. And I think it was definitely a bit of a reachy reach.
He's very Brian Edwards-ish. It's the same idea. SEC receiver.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, Brian Edwards tangent, right? I was in on Brian Edwards last season. I was. And the same slideshow from September, like right before the season started, or like week 1, I had a slide presentation saying, hey, my 2 sleepers this year are Antonio Gibson and Brian Edwards. Like, I was in on the Brian Edwards hype train. Now, a year later, I am off the Brian Edwards hype train.
As you should be.
A lot of people are on still is the thing. Like, a lot of guys from Dynasty Nerds love Brian Edwards still. A lot of people on Twitter think that Brian Edwards is in the same category as like Darnell Mooney and people like that, like year 2 receivers that are like have high ceilings. And I get it, but also I just don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't. I mean, he was injured, but when he was healthy last year, we saw literally nothing from him. I don't know.
A single thing.
Your comments about Brian Edwards are your what's the word, like telling us about how people who are still high on Brian Edwards, it made my eyes get much smaller than I thought they could even get. That's how.
Yeah, I was trying to make like the wide-eyed face, but I couldn't even do it. I was just like,
my eyes sunk into the back of my skull hearing that. They're gone.
It's just not for me. Like, let's go over to the Dynasty Nerds rankings here and see like consensus, like where. I'm just interested.
There's your next
doing some research.
Football court segment. Brian Edwards.
Could be interesting. Yeah, but Brian Edwards, okay, so he was injured for a few games last season, but here are his finishes, right? Week 1, he got 77% of the snaps. 1 target, 1 reception, 9 yards, finished with 1.9 fantasy points. Next week, 62% of snaps, 6.2 fantasy points. Next week, 42% of snaps, 6.8 fantasy points. Then he was injured for like 5 weeks, and then he came back. 2.6 points, 1.1 point, 2.5 points, 0 points, 0 points, 0 points, 2.1, and 13.1 in the very last game of the season, only because he caught a touchdown. He only had 2 targets on that week.
And you know that 13.1 game is the one that the Dynasty Nerds are looking at.
Yeah, so basically, Brian Edwards is a fraud. That's the take. He's a fraud.
Here's what he is. He's a fucking bum.
Whoa!
He is.
Whoa.
He's-
Brian Edwards, we apologize for our
No.
colleague's language.
I don't apologize to him. He's a fucking bum. I'm
my
sorry.
gosh.
I've never called a player that, but that's what he is. He's a fucking bum.
Why is
Three
he bum?
times. Brian Edwards. Alex Krapetsky's views do not in any way reflect or show 3CoSports' view on you. While we do not think you are good, we do not think you are a, and I quote, fucking bum.
Yeah, okay. So this is my issue right now. So this is the consensus Dynasty Nerds PPR rankings. I do not contribute to these rankings, but Brian Edwards is currently listed at wide receiver 56. Okay, he is above Robbie Anderson, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, Corey Davis,
Brandon Cooks.
Darnell Mooney, Paris Campbell, McCole Hardman, John Brown, Jamison Crowder, De'Ami Brown, Sterling Shepard, Christian Kirk, Amari Rogers. What? There's no way. Yeah, he's way too high. I would take Robbie Anderson 100 out of 100 times over Brian Edwards. Same with Cook. Same with Slayton. Same with Corey Davis. Honestly, Darnell Mooney, absolutely. Not Paris Campbell or McCole Hardman necessarily. Maybe John Brown. I don't know, but that the point is he's too high.
Yeah. You see what happens with Brian Edwards? He comes in, his name shows up, he hijacks the conversation, he throws us off of our topic. He's a bum. I don't like Brian Edwards. He's probably a great guy. I don't have anything personal against him. He's always ruining things.
Yeah, I mean it's possible I'm not trying to hate on him too much. Like if
he continues to
hate. Well, listen, I'm never trying to bury people too much because I did like Edwards last year. I mean, there's a lot of hype from him coming out of Las Vegas, but it just didn't happen. I don't know if it was due to injury or whatnot, but players can develop. So I mean, obviously there's potential for him to have a breakout year too. Not saying it's out of the realm of possibility. I'm sure I have a Brian Edwards share in one of my leagues somewhere. Actually, I don't know if I do, but I might. So it's certainly possible he could do something. But that being said, I don't think it's very likely. So
the bottom line is Josh Palmer, just don't be Brian Edwards and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Josh Palmer, he could be good because they kind of drafted him to replace their other big body boy. But I just don't really know if he's going to ever be too relevant, unfortunately. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Angel, let's hear about your biggest reach here.
Sure. So my biggest reach was Kadarius Toney.
Yes.
Because there were, and I'm going to keep it very brief, there were better wide receivers available.
Correct.
Such as Elijah Moore,
Mm-hmm.
Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
And they chose, and I could keep going, but they chose Kadarius Toney. You know? Like, what the? I mean, we clearly don't care anymore. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Giants, you were doing slow. You traded back, which was a great move. Only to pick Kadarius Toney, though?
You know who Kadarius Toney is, in this draft?
Oh.
He's the obligatory bust wide receiver. There always has to be one.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not getting Toney in any leagues that I'm in.
I did draft him somewhere just to give him a shot.
Everybody,
very nice of you, Luke.
He's universally disliked, so he's actually a good value in most leagues.
Yeah, that's why I drafted him. He fell pretty low. The draft capital is really high, so I took him. I think that I actually am going to make an argument against him being a reach. Hear me out. I think they obviously should have taken some receivers over him, but I feel like he was a first round talent on a lot of NFL GM's board or an early second, just because NFL teams look for guys with that skill set a lot. And as the fantasy community, we just hate it because he's a gadgety kind of player, but he can do a lot of things, and NFL teams really like that. So I understand why he was taken there, actually. I didn't like it, but I understood it because he can do a lot of things that NFL teams really value. So that's why I think that he was picked there. I just think that he graded really well on teams' boards.
Yeah. I mean, I get that they liked him, but I feel like all the teams that were after, they could have traded down, I think, and taken him at 25 or 26 or something, because I don't think any of those teams were going to take a receiver, and I think he would have been a pretty good value there. But at 20, I was just like, what are you doing? Why that guy? Why? Really? Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. What are you doing? Don't touch that. No. All right, it's my turn, right? Biggest reach.
Yep.
Let's see. I I haven't thought about this one that much, honestly. I think, it's kind of hard to say. I feel like there's obvious ones like Travis Etienne, where I was like, you don't need that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pick a guy who's already been picked, so I'm just trying to trying to pivot.
I don't think Travis Etienne's been picked. He was picked for
he got picked for a different one. I don't want to talk about him again. It's gonna start James Robinson talk again, and then we're gonna get sidetracked with James Robinson, just like we did with Brian Edwards. I can't let it happen.
Robinson.
I'm gonna say, oh, I know exactly who I'm gonna say. I don't know how I forgot about this. Tutu Atwell in the second round. What was that?
Yeah, that was gross.
What are you doing?
Was it the Rams?
Yeah, it was the Rams. They're like, we need a returner in the second round. That's our first pick of the draft, a returner.
Yeah, they don't need a wide receiver at all.
It's awful. And everybody like in the rookie drafts knows it too. Like Tutu Atwell has been picked. I'm in a 32 team league and we're on pick like 50 now. He's still on the board, I think. So
I would be taking him with my next pick if I were you, actually. Just because of draft capital.
The draft capital is good, but like it's such a weird fit and such a weird player. Like I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I get it for sure. All right, let's move into our next category here. Best value pick. I'll actually kick this one off. My favorite value pick of the draft was actually Terrace Marshall Jr. to the Carolina Panthers. I felt like he should have been a first-round wide receiver. He was my wide receiver. What was it? Wide receiver 5 in this class? 4, 5, 5. Wide receiver 5 in this class behind Bateman. And I thought that he was a really good talent. And I feel like he was actually going to go to the Ravens at pick 27?
Mm-hmm.
Where they got Rashad Bateman. I thought that Terrace Marshall Jr. was an excellent fit there for them. And I feel like he actually might have been picked if he didn't go at 27 there. But anyway, we'll be ready to go with that for the Terrace Marshall. I think that he's an amazing rookie pick right now as well. He's been falling into the second round in a lot of my leagues. I don't think he's going in the first in any of them. And for his value as a player, I mean, I think he's a great choice in rookie drafts right now because the landing spot is pretty good in my opinion. If Sam Darnold can get things going in that offense, it's a 3-headed monster kind of situation there with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and him. But if Robbie Anderson eventually hits the road and it's Terrace Marshall and DJ Moore, that's an awesome landing spot for me.
For sure.
Yeah, for my guy, it's a two-way tie, but I'll just focus on one of them. Tylan Wallace, I think, is a really great value for the Ravens in particular. I couldn't believe he lasted until the 4th round. So shout out to the Ravens. Great pick. They always draft great classes. But I'm going to focus on Amari Rodgers. I think he might be the better fantasy value. And I'm very intrigued by his landing spot. Obviously, this is all contingent on Aaron Rodgers not retiring and or being traded to the Raiders, which is ridiculous, by the way. But I like Amari Rodgers because he's a really good slot wide receiver. Alex put me onto him a while back, and I really like his route running. And if you have good route running and you're in Aaron Rodgers' offense, that can only be good news. 3rd round draft capital, not bad. I think probably a little high for him. The player, I thought he would last until the 4th, to be honest with you. But in terms of fantasy value, I really like Amari Rodgers, and I think that he's someone to keep an eye on in rookie draft because he'll probably be there late 2nd, early 3rd, because he's definitely not going anywhere near the top, the 1st round, or even the first 6 picks of the 2nd round.
For sure, yeah, I like the Amari Rodgers pick a lot. I think people are focusing too much on Aaron Rodgers being upset to like take him, but it's like even if Jordan Love is going to be the quarterback, Amari Rodgers could be their wide receiver too easily. So like, why not? Like it's a good pick. He's a good slot guy.
He's a good pick.
But my guy, Luke might like this one. I thought the best value pick in the draft was Pat Freiermuth, 2nd round to the Steelers.
That was a good pick.
He was a great tight end prospect. Like I think Pat Freiermuth was way better than anybody in last year's class. And Cole Kmet, I think, was picked at a higher pick than he was.
Yeah, I think
overall
40 or something.
Yeah. I think Pat Freiermuth was much better than Cole Kmet. I think he does everything that Cole Kmet does better. Like, just he's a better blocker. He's a better receiver. I think he's just a better player. And the Steelers got him in the 2nd round. They have Ebron, And Ebron's fine, but like they saw the value there and they made a great value pick because Freiermuth, this is a dude who's been compared to Rob Gronkowski unironically. Like people really, really do think he could be like a special player. And I think he could be a special player. I felt like also looking at the value of the position in the draft, the difference between him and Kyle Pitts wasn't that huge. But the difference between him and like the Brevin Jordans and the Tommy Trembles and the Hunter Longs in the class was massive. Like the drop off from 2 to 3 was so much bigger than the drop off from 1 to 2. Mm-hmm. And to get him in the second round and to get him like in the middle ish of the second round too is like a crazy value pick, I thought.
I like it. I broke it down on the show I did last night. But yeah, Pat Freiermuth, I think he'll be extremely fantasy relevant next season because Eric Ebron's contract is up, and I don't think they'll re-sign him unless they drafted Freiermuth literally just to block. But I feel like the best case scenario for Freiermuth is that he could develop into a 3 down, like every snap kind of tight end because he can block really well and receive really well. Like his ceiling for, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like he could be like a George Kittle-ish, Rob Gronkowski kind of player who's on the field like every play, blocking, receiving, etc. He can be a really good fantasy player.
I agree. I think that ceiling is definitely plausible.
Excellent. Angel, are you okay over there? You're zoning out and it's scaring me.
No, what? That's such a weird call out. No,
you're zoning, it looks like.
I don't have anything else to add. Pat Freiermuth. I'm on it. I hate the Steelers took him. I wish we had another tight end. No, I'm kidding.
You wanted Pat Freiermuth, Johnny Smith, and Hunter Henry.
And Devin Asiasi, our boy.
And Dalton.
5-headed monster.
5 tight end set. Oh, baby.
Is that even possible?
Wet dream.
It would be weird. I don't know if it would be legal. 5 tight ends on the field at once.
I mean, you can just play on wide receiver.
Ugh.
That'd be pretty gross.
And just run the ball. Just like 5. Just get like 5 blocking tight ends and just run the ball. Like the offensive line, blocking tight ends. Not even a quarterback. Like it's just Wildcat with a running back and just a bunch of tight ends. It's just a battle in the trenches.
What would they do? They couldn't stop that. It's unstoppable.
I kind of want to see that happen now. Someone do that. Make it happen. I mean, theoretically, like if there was just like a giant line of tight ends and offensive linemen versus defensive back and linebackers and like D tackles, like who would win?
Yeah, I mean that's a very theoretical, interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no comment.
It's possible, man. I feel like that's something that's the Seahawks' newest game plan. Just take Rick Wilson off the field, and it's just Chris Carson and a bunch of linemen and tight ends.
It's possible. But why don't we talk about the who messed up?
Yes.
During the draft.
Excellent.
I'll go ahead and start it off because I was zoning out. No, I'm kidding. No. The Bengals royally fucked up. I'm going to keep it very brief. Jamar Chase is amazing. He is going to win a lot of battles. He's going to have a lot of 100-yard plus receiving games. And I have zero doubt about his talent. Being with Joe Burrow is only going to mean good things. Like, I cannot say enough good things about Jamar Chase. He single-handedly made T. Higgins like a wide receiver, low-end wide receiver 2 in fantasy football. So shout out to him. But have you seen the scar on Joe Burrow's knee? Like, that is all you need to see to know what the right pick in that situation was. You have a middling offensive line that, while not the worst in the league, could have been improved.
They could be the worst. Like
they could, but I'm trying to be nice.
They're going to be better next season. They signed some good free agents and got rid of their guys who are terrible. So they should be better theoretically.
They should be better, but you know what definitely would have made them better? Drafting the best offensive lineman on the board at number 5 overall.
True.
A prospect that some have called a potentially generational talent at the position. And you let him go because you want Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. And I get it. I play Madden too, just like the Bengals GM. But that wasn't the right pick. And they royally screwed that up. But
Truth.
That is my pipe bomb for the day. Shout out to CM Punk.
Quick side tangent. Are we trading T. Higgins? Are we selling T. Higgins?
Maybe if people give good value. He got
I don't
traded
think
for
people would give good value right now.
I saw him get traded for Derek Carr.
And a super flex trade out?
That's fair.
Super flex.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, it feels kind of gross because Derek Carr just feels a lot more yucky than T. Higgins, but Carr gets the job done.
He does.
But I don't know. I have a weird feeling about that. I have a weird feeling about T. Higgins in that receiving core right now because I feel like Tyler Boyd's going to get his. Chase is going to be the one, and I feel like T. Higgins is going to have a ceiling be extremely capped. And I don't think it's going to be worth what he is right now. So I feel like selling T. Higgins right now might be the move, low key. As much as I hate it, I don't want to sell T. Higgins because I liked him a lot last season. But I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it.
Yeah, I'm not. I would just hold on to him because like I don't think anybody would give me fair value at this point.
Yeah.
I might start shopping him. I'm not gonna like put him on the block or anything because because people like Jay will send me terrible offers, Angel. But I'll probably just like send out some offers for him for like picks or something or like rookies. Like if I can get Devonta Smith for T. Higgins, I would absolutely do that.
I don't think anyone's offering that though.
Well, I will. I would trade like T. Higgins in a 2022 second for like Devonta Smith. Like I'm trying to get out.
Is going to be good. # good.
#GUD good. Okay. My team that I think screwed up big time during the draft was the Denver Broncos. You had Justin Fields in your lap at number 9 with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater quarterback, and they're like,
Drew Lock.
Nah, we're good. Let's take a corner. Like, what are you doing, guys? Like, I get it. But Justin Fields is really, really good, and I just don't get it. I don't know. I thought it was a terrible decision.
I feel like the Broncos they were my pick too, but for very different reasons.
Okay.
Because the Broncos have 9, and they're like, okay, we're not going to pick a quarterback. Fine. The obvious second choice should be, we should get an offensive lineman because like Juwan James is like. He's not that good. And then he tears his ACL during the draft, essentially. Like, he's out for the year now. And they're like, we're not worried about Juwan James getting hurt or anything like that. No. And our offensive line is great. Like, we had, like, the best in the league last year, right? So let's not take Rashawn Slater. Or let's just not do – let's take a corner because we need that. The 3 corners we have who are all very good, we need a 4th one of those. We need 4 of them.
That's actually one my other favorite pick of the first round besides Sewell was Rashawn Slater to the Chargers. That was an amazing pick.
It was a great pick. The Broncos put it right in the Chargers' lap. They're like, yeah, here's a guy to protect Justin Herbert for the next 10 years. Here you go.
Here you go.
We wanted the corner. Sorry. All right. Well, that about brings it to the end, right, boys?
It does.
Yes, Luke, I just have one question for you.
What do you got, Angel?
Where can our people invest in these players?
Oh, that's a great question, Angel. Head over to predictionstrike.com and use promo code 3CO to invest in fantasy football players and athletes for the NBA and NFL. Like the stock market, they go up or down based on their fantasy points projections and stuff. It's super cool. Get 50% back on your initial deposit with promo code 3CO. Head over there and check it out. It's a great website, great people. And thank you guys so much for watching or listening to today's episode, wherever you are at. Thank you guys so much. And we will be back next week, probably with maybe some team breakdowns, stuff like that. I'm not too sure yet, but it'll be a good one. Alex, Angel, any closing remarks, gentlemen?
Go Patriots. That's my closing remark.
Mac Jones, QB1 season. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
All right. We'll see everybody. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.